Hi. Hey.
What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Carice, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com. It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. On hot7025fm.com.
In my ear back here. That's what we do. What's happening? It's hump day, baby. What's going on, Eclectic Haze, Young Imani out there? What's happening, home girl? Yeah, we are doing this thing, what we do each and every Wednesday. I want to welcome everybody to Holla at the homie. What's up, Dakari Kofi? My number one listener out there in the building. 30 years of friendship with that guy right there. He a foot taller than me. Would you say if this is something that is capable? You don't know if this is something that's capable, and that's the topic she talking about. Because today we got a good one, y'all. You already know where we at. We had Holla at the homie, the number one spot. What's up, City Ballers? What's going on with you, D? Good to see you, brother. Hey, we still need to chop, man. It's me. It ain't you. It's me. I ain't going to put it on nobody else because if I point the finger, 3 of them point back at me if I'm going to say that. You say sometimes I feel like it's hard to get past money and rumors. And that is the truth because that's the topic we talking about today. How do you play middleman between your friends and get your friends back being friends when they fallen out and started beefing over money or rumors or both? That is a question that we got today. Somebody who wrote us a letter by the name of the mutual friend has asked us that. And you know I always have to give my disclaimer before we get to talking, right? Like I always say, I've never been trained anywhere in type of psychology, psychiatry, and or counseling, and I'm not a life coach, but I am a coacher of life. You dig what I'm saying? So I have lived a lovely, colorful life, and has sponged it all up and got this game to squeeze back out to y'all. Would you say unless there's a direct communication between the sources, there's no way to mend the relationship? That's the truth, and I appreciate that. Salute too, City Ballers. But that's the truth, though, my Eclectic Haze. If there has to be a line of communication, so that's one of the things we talking about today. So we're going to dive straight into this letter so we can kind of see exactly what these friends got going on. It says, Dear Holla at the homie, I'm in a tough spot and I need some guidance. 2 of my closest friends, let's call them Jake and Marcus, had a major falling out and is tearing up the whole circle. It started over a money situation. Jake loaned Marcus some cash, and when Marcus took longer than expected to pay it back, things got tense. Somewhere in the mix, rumors started flying about how Marcus was out spending money on other things while Jake was still waiting on his bread. Now neither of them is speaking, and our whole friendship group feels a major divide. I know both of them well, and I don't think there was ever any bad intent on the other side. Just bad communication, hurt feelings, and too many outside opinions. I hate seeing them like this, and honestly, I miss how things used to be. But every time I try to bring up one thing to the other, or one person to the other, it's either anger or silence. How do I help mend this relationship and this friendship without making things worse? Or do I accept that some friendships don't come back from situations like this? Sincerely, the mutual friend. Whoa. What's up, Deuce Foe, Mr. Deuce Foe, Ray Butler? What's happening with you, brother? I was just talking about you on the way in here. That's crazy. But yeah, this is a good one. This is a deep one because I thought it was when I first broke it down, I thought it was going to be more along the lines because in the title it says, how do you get friends back? It's kind of what my title is. And I thought it was going to be more about some outside rumors that were degrading to like the friendship as a whole. But this is more about like, hey, man, he got your bread. He out here spending it on other stuff. You know what I mean? So you got to think of somebody in the mix. We're going to address them later on down the line. There's somebody out there sprinkling this salt that's kind of brought this situation to like to where it is right now, right? So first off, money and friendships are a tricky mix. I was just sitting there talking with my engineer / station owner, and she was like, you know, she stopped loaning things to people that she care about. She don't even look at it as a loan. Now, if it's business is loan. You got some stipulations, you got some processes which you got to pay back, or you're going to owe more money and interest going to gain. But she said, and this was a good point, I'm going to take it. That's why I wanted to take it in and start off with this one. She said she stopped loaning things. But by that, not saying she doesn't gift people with things, but that's exactly what she calls it, a gift. Here is something I am giving you. I'm not loaning you a dang thing, is what she says, because that's where you eliminate having to worry about how people going to move after, you know, especially people you care about, people you love, friends and family, your tribe, you know, things like that. Instead of loaning them things, just give it to them. If you rock with them like that and they rock with you like that, it's going to come back your way, one way, shape, form, or fashion, you know? And apparently, and that's if you got it. If you got it, you know, and that's my whole point. Like another thing that I was talking to her about is before she hit me with her jewel was I was saying when you quote unquote loan or give money to friends or family, like your expectation of getting that back needs to be low on the totem pole. That needs to be very, very low down on your totem pole. Would you say, Ray Butler? Correct. A gift. Exactly. So you can't look at that as like, I'm going to see this back again. You know, because when you go into it like, you know, dang, this is going to cause strain in my friendship, strain in my familyship. You know, if I loan this person this money. So if you go, what's going on, Sadiq? Inch Mob in the building. So if you go into this not looking at it as a loan, but looking at it as a gift, then it'll take more weight off of your shoulders on worrying about whether or not this is going to reciprocate and come back your way. You know, just like karma, you know, is a boomerang. You get back what you throw out, right? So you got to think about like this. This money is a karmic, you know, is a karma effort to kind of like balance out your karma in the universe. So you giving it out. So just give it out instead of loaning it. And this will kind of help you in the long run. And that's one opinion. But again, you know, I'm always going to be on both shoulders, right? You know, it's like, it's not because people are bad. You got to look at it like this. It's not because people are bad. What you say, you can forget about getting it back. Yeah, it's a wash. It's true. You get it back. You know, it's just life happens. You know, and so apparently it's already happening in this situation where they are. So too far-fetched for life to happen again. right? You know, relationships are more, friendships are worth more, brotherhoods, sisterhoods are worth more than a couple of dollars, right? Regardless whether it was a comma on there or not. Would you say, I don't loan, I give. If I need it back, then I won't give it. Also, like KGB, pay him his money. Right. Pay that. Pay them. If you borrowed it as a loan and as a person, you got to be willing to give that person that money back, though. Like if you took it as a loan. That's why I say I'm going to be on both shoulders, because we can't just put this all on the friend who loaned it and just say they got to take it on the chin and be like, it's all good. You know, because the other person came at them with this being the intent of them paying them back. So you can't just welch on paying somebody back just because you feel like, just because you know they not expecting it back. Now let's deal with your integrity person, the loanee. You know, you can't just look at the loaner and be like, they got it. You know, and just be like, they ain't worry about me giving it back. You know, I know they're not. Yeah, you may know they're not, but your integrity and your karmic boomerang is going to be better off served if you do return that bread to them. You know what I mean? Like, or at least make the most valiant effort possible without putting yourself back in a situation where you got to borrow from somebody else. You know, rob Peter to pay Paul is what they used to say, right? They say you robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? But why? Why do anybody have to rob somebody to pay somebody? If y'all friends, y'all brothers, y'all sisters, y'all family, then like all my online colleagues are saying, just give it to them. Give it to them as a gift. You know? I know it's easier said than done. I'm not sitting here saying like this is going to be like, well, you know what, you right, 360. That's what I should do. Right? You know, it's easier said than done, because Jake, the person who loaned the money out, because I guess that's the name they're using for this person, he feels disrespected. Right? And then and Marcus, the person who borrowed the money, they feel a little defensive. And then now, the mutual friend, and now you caught in the crossfire. So now how do you navigate that? How do you handle that? How do you manage that, right? You know what I mean? One feeling disrespected, one feeling defensive, and you stuck in the middle of you, and you in the middle. So that's why you here. That's why you wrote this letter, to figure out how to get out the middle. First things first, you got to look at is like, what's the real issue here? You know, because again, like everybody say, I'm going to just give it as a gift, but now it's a loan already out there, right? It's a loan already out there. You done presented us with this question, and you trying to figure out how to answer it. You trying to figure out how to answer this question. So what is the real issue? Is it really about the money, or is it more about the broken trust? That's what you got to look at. Is it about the bread that was loaned out, or was it about the trust that was broken because you didn't come through with integrity and say and do what they were supposed to do? Now, I'm not talking to you, Mr. Mutual Friend, because you trying to figure out how to get these people back together. You want to get the band back together, right? So how do you do that? How do you achieve that? How does that happen, right? You know, now, in order for you to get the band back together, you got to figure out, now, what is it all about? Because if it was only about the money, a simple payment plan could get all of that alleviated, and we'd be back to square one. Right? Hopefully it could possibly fix it, right? But the rumors, that's the thing. That's where it gets messy. The rumors, like, you know, people whispering. People always want to spill the tea until it's too hot for them to handle when it's in their own lap. You know what I mean? People always want to spill the tea till it's in their own lap. Then it's too hot. You know, hey, man, you know you got your bread, man. You know you bought that girl that's such and such. You know you've been going out of town every weekend, and you still owe you money. That's the whispering. That's the one on one of these shoulders, right? But you say, yeah, cousin, a payment plan. Shoot, if you pay back the bank in a payment plan, you pay back your car loan in a payment plan, then if you got to get that money back to your partner, you got to put it on the payment plan, dog. And if that's what needs to be done, then that probably could have fixed it. But it's not about all of that, because, again, we got these rumors floating around, right? And my question is, who started them? Not only who started them, forget who started them, who's feeding them? That's the person I need to talk to. That's the person you need to talk to, mutual friend. Who's feeding the rumors? Forget about who started them, because, it's always a game of telephone. Somebody say something and get to the next person. They say something to the next person, and it's never what the first sentence stated was, right? But forget who started them. Who's feeding them? Who's giving them gas? Who's BPing them? You understand that you always need to find out who is the oil company, who's fueling these problems. If Landman ain't taught me nothing else, it's always the oil company somewhere in there, right? And this person metaphorically is the oil company. Exactly, Eclectic Case. Starting is not the problem. It's who's feeding them. And most importantly, do Jake and Marcus even know the full story? Or are they just reacting off of hearsay? That hearsay ain't even allowed in court. You know what I'm saying? Objection, Your Honor, that hearsay, speculation. So if you trying to play, judge in this whole thing, get them back together, you got to object and sustain the objection on hearsay. You got to tell them, hey, you just heard that secondhand. Because that's when you start to get into how do you fix it. Excuse me. And that's when you get into how do you fix it. And, it's exactly how can you extinguish these flames? That's exactly Eclectic Haze. And my thing is, first step is don't force a reunion. What you say, Dakari Kofi, got to pay him back first. Then they have to talk face to face. And hey, that is a route. That's a route. You do have to pay that bread back first, because again, it's not just about the rumors only, because it's about the bread too. So you have to address all issues involved, right? If you're going to really, 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 bust out these flames. So you have to pay back for sure first. Exactly. Everybody's spitting that. So, Mr. Mutual Friend, that's the first thing you need to express to old Marcus about Marcus need to pay this money back. You got to get Jake his money back, right? So first things first. But after that, don't try to force a reunion, right? Set up or stage the event to where they can be in the same place at the same time, or something along those lines. Would you say you think it should be Zelled and then there could be a convo? Hey, that's a good way to think about it, Eclectic Haze. You ain't got to be face to face to pay nobody their money back. You can Zell them. That way you ain't got to take, there's no takeout. It goes straight to the bank. You can cash app them if that's all you got. And just hopefully they'll hold it for them 3 days. You ain't got to cash app them, or just cash app them extra. If you know something going to get taken out, if you know that you owe them $500, you cash app them $520. Because for them to take it straight out right now is a percentage. So just make sure they can take it out without having to be less than what you paid them back. There's so many ways you can pay people back. So then you go from there to the conversation, to the face-to-face, because they friends, right? But you can't push them together. That's the thing. You can't push anybody together, man. I've lived through a situation like that, to where people tried to force me and a friend back to being friends. But we eventually worked it out on our own, but everybody pushing in the beginning was like, chill out. Chill. Let us decipher what's going on. Because the first thing you don't want to push them, because the real healing should be able to happen naturally. Yeah, you can't force nothing. You don't force anything on anybody. That's never a good situation in any equation. It's a song. If it don't fit, don't force it. Just relax and let it flow. Don't rock the boat. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of history saying if it doesn't fit, don't force it. Nothing should be forced anywhere, right? But it should happen naturally, organically. Let them see how life is moving on naturally, and then with that, you could put them in the same place together. Super Bowl just passed. You got All-Star weekend just passed, so you missed a couple of those things, but you got the draft coming up in April. All right, so there you go. You got the draft coming up in April. You got playoffs for basketball coming up in June. So set it up to where y'all all would you say Dakari Kofi, you say we can't talk until I see that Zelle text, though. until Zelle send you that text that say such and such just forwarded blank amount of dollars to your account. He said ain't no talking. He said you on mute. He said on mute like you at a Beyonce concert. Everybody on mute. until he get that bread, that text. I feel you. You gotta have your notifications on. But because being too pushy, trying to force them into something, it could really cause some resentment towards you, Mr. Mutual Friend. So know that. Don't be too pushy, because that's gonna make them look like this fool trying to do too much. He must be the one out here spreading these rumors. He must be the one that started it. So that's why he's working so as people's perception is their reality. And if they perceive that that's how you moving, then that's going to be their reality in regards to you. So don't be too pushy. That's the first thing, right? Because what that may require is for you to talk to them separately. If you said in your letter, you know them both very well. You know them both. You are a common denominator between these friends. You probably the ones that introduced them. Or y'all been friends forever. You didn't give me all the details, but you say you know both of the involved parties very well. So talk to them separately. Let them know. If you already having combos with them, be neutral. Make sure you stay neutral in it, though, make sure you don't take any sides. If you're going to really try to help get this situation back together, don't take any sides. Be neutral. Just listen. A lot of that requires listening, absorbing exactly how the people feel about the situation. Because if you just go into it feeling how you think they feel by not really listening to how they feel, then you really don't have the equipment or tools that's going to really get you to where you need to be to try to help them. If you don't have all the information. You need the info. It's like trying to put together a dresser without any directions. You say that's fair, though. Send the money, then you can talk. Exactly. That is fair. That's fair. That's like trying to put something big together without any directions. Yeah, you may know all the pieces. You may be able to identify all the pieces. But until you have the information that's required to build or rebuild, then you can't really be of real assistance. So you have to listen to them, talk to them separately. One thing you could be like, you know what? This is what you could say to him, Mr. Mutual Friend. You be like, look, I know this situation sucks, yo. I really miss how things used to be. This is how a couple of my homeboys came in. This shit sucks. This situation sucks, right? And I miss how our friendship it used to be. This is what you can tell them, and if you ever want to talk, I'm here to listen. This is what you can tell both of them to where you can get the information needed to move on to step 3, because because again, we're trying to figure out if they're working off of hearsay or whether they have the whole story, or, they may even know the horse's mouth, the source of where this rumorville is coming from. Because if you don't talk to both of them, independently, you won't know how they feel about the stipulations that were created when they brought about this loan situation. One of them may have said hey, man, let me hold about 1,000 and give me till June and I'll get you back. And somebody else may not understand that. They may know that he still owe you 500. But they may not know it's not June yet. So forget what he buying on the outside. Again, do they both have the full picture? You have to be able to talk to them independently to see what they know about the situation, which is causing the gap between them. That's only fair. Because if you don't go in with all the information, are you really being helpful? Or are you just really trying to get the crew back together so it feels good for you because you feel uncomfortable now? If it's truly genuine and you really want to get the gang and the band back together, then you'll sit down and talk to the band members that's at odds and figure out what it is. Why are they at odds totally? You may not know all the rules and specifications that came along with this agreement. You got to leave the door open for them to talk to you without making them feel coerced per se, right? You don't want to make them feel like, oh, he tricked me into talking to him. No, you got to let them want to, because they genuinely want to get it out and you genuinely want to hear it. Not just because you want to fuel the flames of this rumor mill. That's what you gotta, if you gotta decide as yourself what type of friend you are going to be in this situation. What kind of bond you're rebuilding. Are you a bridge builder or are you a bridge breaker, a bridge destroyer, a burner? You sound genuine, like you really miss your friends. And that's understandable. I get all of that. But you got to make sure that you have all the information first, bro. That would be my number one piece of advice. After you decide not to force a reunion, to make sure that you talk to them separately without taking sides. And if you can do that, if you can talk to them separately and make them both feel as if you were being objective about the situation, then that can go a long way in them both having a motivation per se to try to get the band back together. Like, dang, man, 360 came in here, man. He really was concerned about, why we fell out. So maybe we need to talk. That may spark something there just by you truly being invested for the right reasons. Okay, so after you bypass trying to force a reunion and after you talk to them separately, then what? Now we got to get down to the gas, right? Get down to the gas, brass tacks. Call out them rumors. Figure out who it is. If you know who it is, put a stop to it, shut it down. If you know the person that's spreading the rumors, shut it down, man. Because it's not beneficial to the group. And if it's rumors, regardless, they don't know the details of the agreement. Even if Marcus or, Jake have told them the details of the agreement, they don't know where the other person stands in this whole situation. What's up, Mrs. Contreras? They don't know. They on the outside looking in, just like you, Mr. Mutual Friend. But if you dive inside by talking to both of them and listening to them, sincerely, then that puts you closer to the inside. And from there, you can now try to mend where it was broken. Because the first question I asked, is it more about the money or is it about the broken trust? Where is this rift coming from? What'd you say, Ray Butler? You say, honestly, should we really be concerned about rumors? And that's another thing. Look at all these rumors. What's going on, Kevin Sawyer? Who you with? You know what I mean? Like, that's another thing we got to look at. They are just that, rumors. Because we don't know the stipulations of the agreement, right? So you don't know whether or not he's supposed to have had that money back already. Just because he's spending money on something else. He still got bills to pay. He still got other things he had in between. They may have said, you got until 6 months from now to give me my bread. And we at the 3-month point. He may have a lick coming. He may have something on the back burner like, yes, I'm glad you loaned me this because it's going to quadruple. And now I really can pay you your bread back, possibly with some interest. Nobody knows that. That's unless you get inside and talk to them both. Okay? But you got to call out the rumors and decide on if it's somebody talking and you know who it is spreading them. Shut that ish down. Nothing makes things worse than like them sideline voices. You know what? Sideline people get on my nerves. Like people, that's why I don't really like how the NBA allows the people to be right there on the court. You know what I'm saying? There's too much access to interfere verbally. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we yell from the stands at a hockey match a hockey game, or you at a football game or at a soccer match or something, they can hear you if they listen in. But on the basketball court, you can whisper to somebody on the out of bounds, right? So this is what this is. This is a pickup game. Y'all friendship is a pickup game, and somebody whispering on the sideline like, hey, man, I got next. So let me tell you about what he going to do. Chip. You know? Whenever you hear the hip, I ain't the one that told you. If anybody start off with you ain't heard this from me, then that mean they lying. They lying or they really don't know whether there's any validity to what they saying. So sideline conversers, sideline chime in and little cheerleader rah-rah sis boom bah from the side are nerve-wracking in a situation like this because all they do is just add more fuel to the fire. I told you, it's always the gas. Always the gas company behind it, somehow. And what I mean that metaphorically now, because this is who it is. They are the BP of the situation. They are the shell of this because they constantly gassing it up because they talking from the side. And all that's doing is making both sides more and more heated. What's good, Aunt Gooseby? That's all it's doing is making both sides more and more heated. You know, if Jake and Marcus and, you know, if they ever do make peace, then those instigators won't be the ones there to help clean it up. They're going to be like, oh, man, I ain't really say nothing before. You know, that really wasn't me. I was just saying, you know, IJS and, you know, if that were me. But it's not you. It's not you. So why you put your 2 cents in? What Big Sean say? Your 2 cents if it ain't going towards the bill, for real. Meaning if your 2 cents ain't going towards rebuilding this friendship, shut up. Cállate la boca. You know what I mean? Because those people that are instigating this, they have some stake in the game for themselves only. Not anything that, would you say, Anthony Goolsby, communication is key? Exactly. You have to be able to talk. And communicating consists of talking openly and listening wholeheartedly. You got to be able to listen just as, you know, enthusiastically as you're willing to talk and speak your part of it. That's communication, right? And that's key to being able to unlock any type of situation where it's got you stuck as a friend, as a family member, as an employer, employee, anything that's got you stuck. The key to unlock the problem, unlock the situation is to be able to communicate. And again, that's just not about speaking your piece. It's about hearing them out as well. And that's how I feel Jake and Marcus will eventually come back together. They'll be able to talk it out if they do, if they will. Because in some situations, you may have to accept the change in the friendship. Some things you can't, like Eclectic Hayes said at the beginning of this, she's like, I don't know if this is possible. You know, but then, you know, listening and talking and communicating with the rest of the online colleagues, she came up with like, you know, it may be possible. Anything is possible. She is with the Kevin Garnett. But her initial point was, some things you just can't come back from. And if that's the situation, Mr. Mutual Friend, then you have to accept that. Because again, it's not, you're a player on the board, but you're not the pieces involved, if that makes sense. Yes, you are part of the friend group. Yes, it's you know, tight as the elastic on a big person's drawers. Like, I get that. But still you got to look at it in regards to you're not the moving pieces this time. So don't force anything, or else you're going to involve yourself to become one of the pieces that are moving. And sometimes moving means removing, means getting out of the way. So do you want to be removed from the equation, or you want to help mend the equation, the situation? What is your take on it? You can't do all of it because you're not one of the moving pieces. You just on the board with them. Sometimes you have to accept the fact that friendships change. It hurts. This the part that hurts. Like, you know, when I was all pumping up like, yeah, you can help them, you can help them, you can help them. But then you, on the other side of the other shoulder over here, like, hey, but sometimes no matter what you do, that help, change gonna come. And what do you do then? Because if you sit there and dwell on it longer, then that's going to bring the rest of the crew down. That's going to bring everybody else down, because sometimes it's just people have seasons and they grow from one another. Maybe they'll rekindle and come back to it one day. Maybe they won't. But you got to be okay with it all. You got to make peace with all of it. You know, your job isn't to fix them. You know what I mean? Your job is really like to be the real one in the middle. If you're going to be a real one, be all the way real. Don't try to, if it's not to fix people, it's just to be the real one in the middle who respects both sides. And you got to be able to do that without getting burned in the situation. Would you say, Ray Butler, it's crazy how money can destroy friendship? Money can and they it's to say like, oh, money is the root of all evil. But the real quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. You know what I mean? And when we allow money to take over and supersede the love we have for other people, then that's when it's rooted from an evil place. It's now divisive, opposed to, it's supposed to bring people together. You buy a ticket, you can fly somewhere, you bring people together. You buy dinner, you bring people together. But in most situations, when it involves, the tug of war of money, it's divisive. It's a really big hot button for a lot of people. People that have it, they wonder why the people that don't always don't. And the people that don't have it wonder why people who got it, look at them down their nose, in their opinion. ITO, in their opinion. So it's like the heads and the tails of the same coin. It's the same coin. It costs the same amount. A quarter is 25 cents, no matter whether you put it on the counter on heads up or tails up. It's 25 cents, right? So y'all of the same coin, but what is it that are you being heard? Are you being appreciated? That coin keeps flipping. You can say, be my friend when I'm broke. Yeah, that's it. Be my friend when I'm broke. So that means when I'm rich, I really know you, my friend. I'm broke right now. No, I'm just playing. I'm not receiving that BS. I ain't broke. I ain't rich either, though. I'm rich in spirit with my friends and my family, though. That I am. I am rich as hell when it comes to that. But, I want people that's going to be there. Again, we go all the way back to the beginning to where turn these things into gifts for people that you care about. It's not about the return of the cash, the return of the money. But in this situation, as we've spoken, since it's already been established as a loan, before this friendship can be rekindled, before this can be mended, the money has to be returned to that's the first step. Then we can address the rumors. Then we can address everything else. But since this has been established as a loan, and now the fact that it hasn't been paid back is one of the major deciding factors that this friendship is falling apart, then that has to be rectified first. Let's get the elephant in the room with us. Let's bring it all the way in. He can't be having his butt outside and his trunk on the inside. Bring his butt all the way in, and we'll address it. Let's get that first. Then we talk about the rumor side of things. Say day one, stay one. That's the truth. We all want that. We all strive to be that for people. A1 since day one. All of us feel we are that for somebody. I believe. I know I feel like that. And I know there's people out there I feel that way about, that they have been A1 since day one. What'd you say? You late? But what if you know your friend is BSing and constantly needs you to bail them out? Do you keep bailing them out? Hey, that's another, that is a horse of another color there, James L. Pitts II. That is a horse of a whole nother color. Because then in the point where that's where you got to be, if you really a friend, you talk to them. Be like, hey, man, you BSing, dog. Like, I ain't your daddy. So I know you BSing and putting yourself in these situations, So don't look to me to bail you out all the time. But you have to, again, that's where the communication comes in hand. Because when you express, again, when I say communication is a two-way street. So when you express how you feeling about that, like, look, man, you can't be looking to me to bail you out all the time. This ain't a good feeling. I don't like the way this make me feel. Then they'll get a chance to express maybe why they lean on you all the time. You've got to be willing to listen to everything on the other side. You still want your money, still telling me I ain't give you nothing else. But at the same time, you got to be willing to listen. There might be an underlining reason that you could possibly assist with that they don't end up BSing again. You may be able to talk to them about living outside their means. Or doing something, that's a tough conversation, James. You are right about that. But it's one of those necessary ones, bro. Like if you got somebody that's constantly putting you, in situations that don't make you feel good, then you're cheating yourself by not addressing that. Especially if you're going to continue to keep this person around you, regardless of whether you bail them out or whether you don't. You're going to keep them around you, so you got to be able to talk to them about, how we keep our boat rolling smooth. What up, Sterling Armstrong? What'd you say, Ray Butler? Always saying yes is a problem. That is a problem. You have to be willing to say no to the people that you love from time to time, but communicate with them why you saying no. People be like, I ain't got to explain why I'm saying no. It's not explanation. If you really want to help them understand why you're saying no and cut down on the friction, then, communicate with them why you're saying, you know what, I'm going to say no to this request from you. Because right now, this is making me feel this blank, 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 blank. However, the reason is why you saying no. Would you say Anthony Gooseby? My dad told me a long time ago that you don't loan anything you can't afford to lose. That's the thing. In my little corner boy days, I wouldn't front nothing to nobody that I knew I couldn't afford to say he ain't never coming back with that $20. People be out there mad, chasing junkies down because they $20 is gone that they owed them for 2 weeks. And it's the principle behind it. Nah, man. You should have known. Now you've got your blood pressure up because you loaned out something that you couldn't afford to let go of. If you can't afford to let it go, you can't loan it out. Regardless of what they think you got, regardless of where you feel like you want to be be helpful to somebody, you can't always help. Because sometimes helping them hurts you. Where's the help in that? Then you can't turn right back around to them to get the help from them because they just asked you for it. That's when we go back into the robbing Peter to pay Paul phrase I was talking about earlier, right? So, again, if you can't afford to lose it, don't loan it. What you saying? That J is high as hell and you stressing. Exactly. That J out there high as the cost of living and you stressing over that $20 that you just chased them down and you ain't gonna catch no crackhead. You used to hear that in any movie you see. Like when Ezel took off running, you ain't catch no crackhead, dog. Rest in peace. Ezel. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to understand sometimes, like, let's rewind back. Let's go back. So we talking about somebody who's asking how can they be a help to getting their friends back together after they had a falling out over some money and some rumors, right? And so we addressed them like how we know moving forward, you can't loan stuff to people that you care about. You got to look at that as a gift. So that's moving forward. But in hindsight, what we're dealing with right now, we're not hindsight, but we're looking in the rear view right now, trying to figure out how to fix what was broken. We got to understand now, first things first, get them to pay that money back. Then you got to not force them into a situation to where you making them talk to each other. Break down what's the real issue. Is it the money or is it the trust that's been broken? So if you really trying to be helpful, you got to really dive in. You can't just stick your toe in the water and say you went swimming. You got to dive in and really be helpful. So now if you're going to be helpful, you got to break down all the moving parts. If you gonna fix this or try to fix this, you got to get in there like a mechanic. Now you go, okay, say cool, boom. We got the rumors. That's where it got messy. We got the money. Okay, cool. It was a loan. All right, so it's taking time, but I got to figure out what was the time that they were supposed to get this money back. You really about to go to work, Mr. Mutual Friend. Don't come to me just asking for a couple little bullet points if you're not gonna apply them now. You know, because even my online colleagues and I have told you already the steps that would be most beneficial to them and to myself if we looked at it from the outside and inward, you know? So if we looking at it from your way and your perspective, how we would help or what would help us if we were in this situation, would to be first get that money back, talk to them about that. After that, figure out the rest of it by saying, like, let's not force this. Let's talk to them separately to find out all the details and the information. Let's figure out what the rumors are, who started them, not only who started them, who's fueling them. And let's cut that out. Let's remove that, you know, block, that spot in the problem. How do we get that stain out of here? You know? Figure out who it is that's messing the whole situation up or got the ball rolling in the first place or who's keeping it rolling. And then sometimes you got to understand maybe friendships ain't meant to be meant back together. Some friendships aren't meant to be mended. People have seasons in each other's lives. You know, like I say, that's the part that hurts. It hurt like a mofo. It hurts like a mofo to say that, you know, you see two of your friends, and they ain't never gonna be friends again. What's going on, comedian Melvin Washington? The 6'5" funny man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe, you know, they'll make peace with it, or maybe they won't. Again, your job is not to fix them. It's to be the real friend in the middle that truly cares about both of their perspectives. That's what your hope is to do in this. Because with that, if you truly show that you are invested in them as a group, then they may even come to grips with, like, you know, maybe we need to talk a little bit. Maybe we need to figure out how we can kind of smooth this back over. You know? So my final thoughts to kind of wrap things up, right? At the end of the day, it's all about time and perspective. We talked about both of these things, right? How does people look at things? Like how much time has transpired in between the rumors and between the loan. So time and perspective, you know, and both of those things, when you reverse them and look at them, they eventually heal most things. What do you mean by that, 360? Okay, if these two had a friendship at one point, right? Then it's a good chance that they'll figure it out on their own terms on how to be friends again. Oh, I forgot, dang, Melvin, I forgot he's 6'9". I just know he over a foot taller than me. I forgot he is 6'9". Golly, funny than a mom. But he's 6'9". I forgot, Melvin Washington. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, time and perspective, meaning their perspective on it, will usually heal this situation. And that's how you got to look at it. But if not, that's okay too. If they don't heal, then now you've got a choice to make. To continue to be friends with them both, yes, and live these lives and balance in between, or you can try to be friends or unfriend one, or, you know, it's all on you in that regard. But I would say if you really care for them both, continue to be both of their friend by open listening to them and seeing how they feel about it. Because again, you're not there to fix it. You're just really there to try to help keep the friendships from being anything other than what they are right now is what I'm saying. Like, you don't want them to, at the end of the day, you don't want your friends to be beefing. And we get that. So, you know, what's meant to come back together will eventually come back together. That's friendships, relationships, that's partnerships in the world, business. If they're meant to come back together, they will. All right? So if anyone else is out there listening and you got a similar situation to this or any other conversations that you want us to address on here, y'all know how to reach me. Hit me up at holla@thehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLA ATTHAHOMIE@gmail.com. And that's how you get your merch, too. You notice I'm freaking them all different colors out here. And I got some people that got some merch that landed on their doorsteps, and some people that's got some coming their way within the next day with the holiday that just hit us. So, again, y'all, appreciate everybody that tunes in and taps in with Holla at the Homie on hot7025fm.com, on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live, all my online colleagues that check in, tap in with us. You know, Eclectic Hayes, we appreciate you today. Comedian Melvin Washington, Sterling Armstrong, Miss Contreras, James L. Pitts II, Ray Butler, Dakari Kofi, and Ant Gooseby. Man, I appreciate all y'all. And as always, until we breathe in each other's direction again, keep your chin parallel with your path, baby. I'm 360 the Poet. I'm going to holler at y'all in a minute.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot702.5fm.com.